Hi everyone, so I'm gonna be meal prepping, and if you follow me on Instagram, I did another unboxing of the Daily Harvest, and they sent me their latest harvest bowl, which is the cremini and asparagus pot pie, and they actually sent me 3 of them. So the first one I already taste tested and also posted on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram and on TikTok, do follow me. My links to my profile accounts is down in the description. But since they sent me 2 extra ones, I'm thinking of doing a meal prep with them. And if you watch my previous vlogs, you know I also like to customize some of the stuff that I do receive from Daily Harvest. You can eat it by itself, they're fabulous, but I want to do a meal prep using this too. It just gonna makes the meal prepping a lot easier and quicker. So what I'm gonna do is combine both, heat them up on a pan, and then add some orzo. And normally when I customize my Daily Harvest bowls, they make about 2 servings. So this combined, I think they're gonna make about 4 servings, 4 to 5, which is great because for typical meal prep, I only prepare about like 4 meals because I don't want it to go to waste. And sometimes I don't like eating the same thing every day. So this would make a great meal prep. And I also had some turkey balls that I already meal prep about a week ago that I never really got to eat. I just froze them, but I defrosted them last night. So I'm also gonna add them to this. Daily Harvest meals are dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan, so they don't contain any meat or dairy. But since I'm not a vegetarian and I would like to make this a little bit more substantial meal since I'm using it for a meal prep, so I usually make additions to them like a little bit more protein or a little bit more carbs, and that usually makes it more of a substantial meal. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do that and show you how I'm going to turn this into an cremini and asparagus pot pie with orzo and some turkey / mushroom balls. It's starting to boil a little bit. But it's still very much frozen. I'm just gonna let it be until it all defrosts, essentially. Let's check back on our meal prep. Alright, it is boiling and I think I can add the orzo now. But look how much food that is for 2 harvest bowls. That's pretty a lot. And here's the orzo. I'm probably going to use up a cup of it. So let me go get the measuring cup. Okay. And then, so with orzo, you kind of want to put as little water as possible because you want it to release the starch. So it's kind of like making a risotto almost. So you just want it to release the starch as much as possible. So you only add a little bit of water at a time. So just that much, and put it on medium heat, and then just stir. And then I'm adding some nutritional yeast to make it a little bit more creamier. Stir that. As you can see, the water is already drying up a little bit, but that's okay. Adding a bit more water. Again, not a lot. That's actually a bit too much. And then I'm just going to let that dry out again. And I think at this time, once this dry out, it's going to be ready. So as you can see, it's very quick and simple. Very easy, especially with the help of the Daily Harvest. I don't have to do a lot of other prep work. I'm just basically adding orzo to it. Alright, I think it's almost done. I'm just gonna let it cool down a little bit so it can absorb some more of that moisture. So I think I did a good job decluttering my plant collection. I haven't had a final count, but I don't think I'm going to be as overwhelmed as I was last fall. I think I do have a more manageable collection. Like the plants that I have outside, I think I only have the mango plant, the avocado, and the aloe vera and autograph plant that's potted together that's outside. Everything else is pretty much inside, and whatever else is left outside, I'm sorry, but they're not coming back in. So either I'm giving them away or I'm just gonna let them out, see if they survive and come back next spring. So over here, I already have my ficus Audrey. This is a south-facing window, and well, this is one of the plants that I had outside, but unlike my other plants that I still bring out during the day, I just rather keep it inside because ficus plants can get finicky. I never had issues with my ficus plants being finicky, but just to be on the safe side. And I do have my prop box over here that I already also placed here as well. And these are just plants that I don't really know if I'm keeping or not, but here they are. Syndapsus pectus argyrius. Actually, no, I'm keeping a lot of these. Maybe not that spider bonnie, and that one is the Syngonium albo, and that one is Monstera nodes. But yeah. I just finished lunch and I'm going to do some work, edit the video that I'm putting out on Thursday. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about decluttering houseplants. And I've seen a lot of videos from other plant YouTubers or even on Instagram saying they're very overwhelmed with the amount of plants that they have. And like I said in my fall preparation video last year, this is the time where plant parents do panic when it comes to their plants, when they think they might have bit off more than they can chew. Because during the summer, during the spring, a lot of us, well, many of us do have the ability to put our plants outside, or we just have a lot of light to provide for our houseplants in the spring and summertime compared to the fall and winter time. And then now that we're transitioning into fall, heading to winter, and people do start to feel overwhelmed and they start thinking about decluttering their houseplants. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've been on my decluttering plant journey pretty much the entire year because I felt that overwhelming sense of feeling when it comes to having too many plants last fall, when I didn't realize that I accumulated over 100 plants. And last year I was also propagating like crazy because I was also trading and selling a lot of plants. So with this year I kind of held back with selling a lot of plants, and I did mostly trading. I did buy a few plants, and I did give myself a limit of 20 new plants to add to my collection. And at the same time I had to give up a bunch of my plants. So what I did earlier this year is to make an inventory of all the plants that I owned, see which are the duplicates. So for those plants that are duplicates or that I could get rid of, I sold or traded them so that I could get the plants that I wanted to add into my collection. And I haven't done the final count. There's still some plants that I have to get rid of and some plants that I still have duplicates of. I will know for sure when I do my fall plant collection video. But right now, when I'm transitioning into the fall, I'm not stressed. I feel comfortable with the amount of plants that I have indoors as well as outdoors, and the ones that I need to bring in. And also, I think I'm also at the point in my plant journey and plant collection that's okay for me to let go some of the plants, that I don't have to hold on to every single one of them. Because I guess when I started, I wanted to build my collection so fast, and for some of them it was hard for me to find them when I first started. I've started my plant journey pre-pandemic, and a lot of the plants that became available last year wasn't available when I started. So that's why I'm kind of having a hard time letting go of some of them. But now I'm better at letting go of plants. I'm not saying I'm 100% better. There's still some plants that when I prune them or make cuttings, I still feel the need to propagate those cuttings and not just throw them away or give them away. So I'm still working on that, but I think for the most part, I'm at a place in my plant journey where I am comfortable and not stressed with the amount of plants that I have. And for some people who are decluttering right now, I mean, each and everyone has different styles and different personalities and different behavior patterns. But for me, the decluttering took quite a while because, like I said, I had a hard time letting go of plants, even plants that I'm not truly in love with. So it was a full year journey for me, and it was a slow process. I know for others, they can give up 100 plants within a week. That's not me. I couldn't do that. That would be too much of a traumatic experience for me. So I did it gradually and make sure that the plants that I have in my collection are the plants that I want, and the plants that I'm giving up because I don't really want them and not regret later on that I gave them up. So yeah, so I'm really happy with my decision last year to declutter and make it a year-long journey, because if I feel like if I decluttered within a span of a week or a month, I would just be more stressed than I am when I was stressed with having way too many plants. Because the decluttering process can also be a very stressful experience as well, maybe even more stressful than having to take care of so many plants. So just make sure that it's something that you want to do, not because you're just feeling too overwhelmed. Maybe just a little bit of organization and maybe asking for a little bit of help in taking care of your plants for a while, or again just making a list of all the plants that you have, see what are your duplicates, the propagations, maybe stop propagating for a while, and then see where you could start to pare down all of the plants that you currently have. So good luck to everyone trying to declutter and feeling overwhelmed with your plant collection. It's not an easy process. If you can do it quickly, great, but for me, like I said, it was a year-long journey in order to do so. As far as bringing plants indoors, but for me, I started doing it last week when the temperature starts to dip below 55 degrees. At least in my experience with my plants, they don't like the temperatures below 55 degrees. Anything above that, they're okay with being outside still, because the sun is still a lot stronger than whatever natural light that I could provide for them inside. So it still kind of balances out. But sometimes the amount of light they're still receiving outside is probably not worth it for the plants to be in colder temperatures. So it's best to bring them in. And when I start to bring in my outdoor plants in, I do separate them first from my indoor plants. Not because the outdoor plants are the ones bringing pests in, because to be honest, our outdoor plants will probably have less chance of pests because they have natural predators outside that would eat all those pests that we don't like. With indoors, it's really up to us to manage the pests. So just to avoid the indoor plants contaminating the outdoor plants and vice versa, I do try to separate them for a period of time until both are properly treated and prepared for being inside together. And that usually means just cleaning the foliage, spraying it down with neem oil spray, and I've repotted all the plants that I needed to repot and change the topsoil of whatever plants that I need to change the topsoil of. As far as fertilizing, I am still fertilizing my plants. I'm probably not gonna wane off fertilizing my plants up until the end of October, maybe even up until early November, but at that time I'm probably likely diluting my fertilizer or cutting it in half, or lessening the times that I fertilize them up until like end of October, middle of November. Your plants will tell you if they still need fertilizing or not, and some people do argue you could still fertilize if your plants continue to grow throughout the winter season, but for me that's really not enough reason, because it's not just about growth, it's about the amount of light that they're receiving and the amount of water they're receiving. For plants, what they really need from us is to master their light requirements and watering needs. Fertilizing is secondary, especially during their dormancy period and during the winter time. So I don't think fertilizing is a big of a priority or a must-do over winter time, even if our plants continue to experience growth. What is important is we're giving them enough light and the amount of water that they need at the right time. And after that is pest management, because with lower temperatures we start using our heater. That means decreased amount of humidity, and less humidity actually triggers pest infestation, especially with spider mites during the cold and winter seasons. So humidity and pest management is another thing that I'll be more concerned about than fertilizing. So yeah, those are my general care tips when it comes to transitioning your plants indoors, and some winter care plant tips. If you want more in-depth videos on fall plant care and winter plant care, I'll link my videos on that down in the description. I'm late for my vaccine appointment, but I'm also keeping distance because I don't want to get final destination by this truck. I can't change lanes because I have to be in this lane, but yeah, staying far away from that truck. Like a foot and like a half massage. So I got my pumpkin cold brew. This is my first time trying that out. That is so good. So I just finished getting my COVID shot too. It's my third booster shot, and it's exactly 6 months since I got my second shot, and I qualify for the third booster shot. So I went ahead and got it today, which is great since I'm also traveling in October and in December, and it's really good to have that extra protection. But I had a little bit of snafu. I was trying to get into my car, I couldn't get in because my key card, or my whatever you call this, doesn't have batteries anymore. So I had to buy a $5 battery to change it out so I can get in my own car. Could use the key that it comes with, because there's like a key, in case you didn't know that if you have these keyless cars as well, there's a key that you can pull at the back. But I was scared the alarm that would go off and it would just be alarming all my way home, and I still need to run several errands, so I just went ahead and bought the battery. But yeah, so now I'm going to the bank, to Joann Fabrics and maybe Marshalls, and I'll see if I could film. My phone is running out of battery, but I'll see if I could charge it while I drive so that I could film a little bit more while I'm running my errands. So good. I stopped by Goodwill to drop off the Nations, and it's right next to Lowe's, so I might see what plants they have. To be honest, I'm not really looking for any plants, but when I'm near Lowe's or Home Depot, I just can't help but stop by and see what they have. But I don't need any more plants, to be honest. Garden Center. They have this on clearance. I like those pots, but I don't like the plants in them. I like the pots in the Live Trends collections, but they put the most basic plants in them, and I don't know if it's worth buying just for the pots. This one though, it has a taniki. Going to Joan and then Marshalls. So I'm at Joan Fabrics. I picked up my online order, and they're having a fall sale, so I picked this up and I'm going to print something on it when I get home. I really saw this at Joan Fabrics 5 seconds ago, and they're selling it for $24.99. It was $50 at Joan Fabrics, but I think they also have it for sale, so it's probably the same price. Came here for is a beauty blender. I have it over here. Okay, go with this one because this is $5 for 3, so I think this is the best deal. New desk chair, but I don't know if I should go with this one. It is $80. I heard stories of people finding a liquor set at Marshalls and TJ Maxx, and I found one here. This one is $169. I mean, not bad for a liquor set, but I do live near a liquor set outlet mall, so. Making a final stop at Target, see if I could find the storage bin. So until I can find a better solution, I'm gonna get this under the bed storage box. It's about $6 each, so they're pretty cheap, and I could use it for something else once I figure out a better solution for all my crafting stuff. Wonder if you spend the winter all alone. I finished running all my errands, and I'm gonna head home because I spent money that I'm not supposed to spend to again today. I was just supposed to get my COVID shot, and I ended up spending money on stuff that I do need, but you know, I'll see you at home. I
Yeah. See, had to ask a question if you happy, girl. I'll change your mind anytime in this happy world. Let's go and kick it, you and me, and see what love unfurls. Cause girl, I bet you love some tugging on them lovely curls. Hold up, a week up after that, believe we started dating. My heart was racing, but never felt my time was wasting. My mind was chasing, ain't no debating. I'm feeling you, and trying to get together, figure out what to do. Even after some disasters, we were making.
Hi everyone, it's Thursday, September 30th, the last day of September. I actually thought today was going to be October 1st, but it is the last day of September and also the day after I got my third booster shot of the Pfizer vaccine. And I thought I was going to feel bad today because after I got the first two shots, I had a lot of body ache the next day after I got the vaccine. Right now it's only my arm where I got the shot. It's hurting, but otherwise I feel fine, which is great. I think it's partly due because yesterday I tried to stay active after I got the third shot. I ran my errands as you saw, and when I got back, I just put away everything that I bought, reorganized my crafting supplies with the storage bins that I bought from Target. I put all my plants back inside and kind of putting them permanently now indoors. I did not take them out today, and I folded my clothes and cleaned my IKEA greenhouse cabinet because I really expected I was going to feel bad today, that I'm going to be like almost bedridden, but I'm not, which is great. But I might be speaking too early because it's only what, like 10:30 in the morning. But I just want to piggyback on the discussion that we were having earlier in this video for you a couple of days ago for me on plant burnout, feeling overwhelmed, and decluttering. So if you're experiencing plant burnout during this time, it's okay, it's normal. Don't stress out about your stress regarding your plants. And usually the common cause, oh my god, okay, so we're gonna continue the discussion later because it's actually 11:09 and not 10:30 like I thought it was, and I'm meeting someone at noon, and I'm not gonna share this until maybe a couple weeks later in my Thigh Constellation A Year in the Life video. But to reward the viewers who not only watch my plant videos but also my lifestyle videos and watch them all the way through, I want to let you know that I am trading my Thigh Constellation mascara, the one that I imported from Thailand, for a mascara elbow. And now I'm on my way to meet up with the person that I'm trading with. I posted about it in my TikTok and Instagram on Monday, if you follow me there too. And I posted about it in a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in, and I got a few messages and a few offers to trade, and I finally decided on this person. One, because I just really liked her vibe. She was really nice, and I think that she'll take good care of my plant. And the plant that she's offering me is highly variegated. It's already rooted, and she's also throwing in a fishtail Hoya cuttings for me, so that kind of like sweetened the deal. Although there were other offers that were larger plants and also have the same amount of variegation, if not more. But one of them was in Leica. It is rooted, but it's in Leica, and me and Leica just don't have a really good relationship, so I don't want to take that risk. And the others are, even though I said in the post I'm willing to accept cuttings as long as I have aerial roots, I just thought about it that I can't really be propagating right now, especially, and you'll learn more when you see my Thigh Constellation A Year in a Life video, how much of a hard time I had with this plant in the beginning when it was in the propagation stage. I just don't want to go through that again. And especially, again, as mentioned, I'm traveling in October and again in December for like 2 weeks. I don't want to be stressing out and thinking if my mascara elbow is going to be alive when I get back home. But yeah, so I'm gonna go and pack the plant, head out. I am running late, so to meet her, and then I'll meet you back up here and show you the mascara elbow that I traded with and the fishtail Hoya, and we'll continue our discussion on plant burnout. Okay, so I just got to our meeting place. I'm waiting for her. I think she's still driving, but here's the Thicon strapped on the passenger seat. But yeah, she's about to say goodbye and about to say hello to my mascara elbow. We're on different side of the parking lot, so she's trying to get to me now, even though it's just like 0.2 miles. It's like 7 minutes to go around, so I'm waiting for her to come and get this baby and I can get hers.
Wonder if you spend the winter all alone, yeah. Cause I don't please fall, I don't please fall. Yeah. See, had to ask a question if you...
I did trade my Thigh Constellation mascara, the one that I imported from Thailand, the top half of it, for a mascara elbow. And I did get a lot of offers on the Facebook group, and the offers that I received were really good. Like, a lot of them had really good variegation. and a lot of them are larger leaf plants. But when I thought about it, as much as I want to get those top leaf cuttings with really good variegation, but they had hardly any nodes and I would be propagating it. So I just picked a much smaller plant but with a really well established roots. Okay, let me stop talking and let me show it to you. This is the Monstera albo. As you can see with the new leaf, it is so white with very little green on it, and it has a new growth popping in. And this one as well, although this part is already starting to brown, which I expect from a Monstera albo. And this one, you can see it has like aerial roots coming out already, and I want to not do the TikTok hack on it, but air layer it so that it would grow full roots. So that, not that I'm trying to repropagate this, because I don't plan on repotting this anytime soon. I want to keep it in here for as long as I can. Oh, there's like roots already coming out at the bottom. I'm probably just gonna pinch that off. Hopefully that is okay. And then it came with this leaf, which is started to yellow a little bit, and I probably eventually have to cut it off, but I'm not gonna cut it off because this leaf is a lot of green, and I'm pretty sure this is the leaf that is currently supporting the rest of this right now that has barely any green on it. And I can see with the incoming new growth, it's also pretty much white, and I'm really happy with this. As you can see, lots of healthy roots. Don't have to worry about propagating this at all, not have to worry about root rot, knock on wood. And she said that she had hers just staying in the IKEA cabinet, which is what I plan to do, which is why last night I cleaned out my IKEA cabinet to provide some space for this one. So yeah, I'm really excited to have this and have an established plant. Even though it's a lot smaller, people might think it's not an equal trade because my Thycon was a lot big, but you know how much Monstera albos cost these days, and you know that the value of the Thycon is going down as we go closer and closer to the launch or the drop of the Costa Farms Thigh Constellation Monstera. Although to be honest, I don't really think the prices are going to drop that much, because I do think Costa Farms is going to sell those plants for a pretty high price, not maybe as high as they have gone in the past or currently going right now, but it's going to be in the low hundreds. I'm pretty sure the smallest plant would cost a little over $100, to be honest, until they come up with juvenile versions of the Thigh Constellation Monstera that they could sell for like under $50 or maybe even under $20, which I don't think so, because even for the regular plants, they are selling it for more than $20 now, the common plants that they have. So they have increased prices themselves. So I think by the time Thycon drops, it's not going to be as expensive, but it's not going to be as cheap as people think it would be. So I think it will still carry a good price. And that's also the reason why I wanted the trade to happen this fall instead of waiting next spring. And the offers that I would get is probably not as good as the offers that I got now if I postpone the trade in spring or summer or fall of next year. But who knows, we'll never know. But right now I'm really satisfied with what I got. Like I said, yes, it is a much smaller plant, but I'm very happy with it, and I'm very patient. I can wait for this plant to grow the same way I waited for my Thycon import to grow for a year into the plant that it was while it was under my care. So yeah, and aside from this one, she did give me a Hoya Polynura cutting, which is, she said she had like over 100 Hoyas, and if I'm a much more of a Hoya head, if I asked something from her, she probably would have given it because she was really kind and generous. But I only asked for a fishtail Hoya because this has been on my wish list every year, and I know for some people they're over this, they are into more interesting or more rare Hoyas, but I've always wanted this in my collection. And honestly, now that I have the Hoya Polynura and Monstera albo, I don't even know what other wishlist plants I still have, because I feel like when you talk about wishlist plants, it's plants that you are very eager to have in your collection, that you actually make an effort to add to your collection and will be willing to spend a pretty penny on it. But anyways, again, I will talk about that during Plantmas / Vlogmas, my wishlist plants. Maybe I'll come up with other plants to add to my wish list, and I'm pretty sure next year there are other plants that would be in our radar or will become well known that everybody would want, that I would want as well. So you can never really tell. There's so many plants out there, so there's so many varieties have yet to be discovered and yet to be known by us houseplants enthusiasts, of course, with a caveat that we are respecting nature, we are respecting environment, and we are not causing more problems to our environment because of our plant hobby, because that is very counterintuitive to be all about plants and then we're destroying their natural habitats and the environment in the process just to support our hobby and bring plants that are supposed to be outdoors indoors in a climate that's not even right for them. Okay, so my battery died. I have to change it out, but like, yeah, I was saying I wanted to end this vlog on October 1st, hopefully October 2nd. I thought today was going to be October 1st. It's only September 30th, but let's pretend today is October 1st and let's finish up the discussion that we're having before I went ahead and traded my Ficon for an Alvo. And what I'm saying is not rocket science. This is probably pretty obvious, but I'm saying the obvious anyways, just to remind ourselves that it's okay to feel this way, especially during this time of year. And of course, as we try to exit COVID, I mean, try the operative word, we are getting busier with our lives and we don't have as much time as we used to have with our plants. So yeah, there's going to be some adjustments and we probably took on a lot more plants than we could manage. And I'm gonna say this just for myself as a plant YouTuber, plant Instagrammer, plant TikToker, however you want to call it, is that probably what you need to take a break on is not your plant hobby, is your social media aspect of your plant hobby. And have taken those steps. I took a break earlier this year. I tried to switch up my content, even though I'm posting more now. I'm posting twice a week. I only post my houseplant videos on Thursdays, and I do videos like this on my Sunday videos. It seems like taking on a lot more work, but it just gives me a break from having to monetize my plant hobby, if you know what I mean. Because like, I know my vlogs don't do as well as my plant videos, but that's okay, because I do love the creative aspect of YouTube. I do love the production side of YouTube, and I love my plant hobby, but sometimes together I don't like them. And so sometimes when I could just concentrate on doing a YouTube video without worrying about my plants, or just take care of my plants without worrying about having to film and make a video out of it. And I do that because that helps me keep up with my YouTube channel and also keep up with my plant hobby, to not be a chore or not for it to be a type of work. Because I know in this day and age, everything has to be a hustle. Like, we can't just like things, we have to turn it into a hustle or a side gig, which honestly I am not mad at. I do that a lot. I've taken on a new hobby with Cricut, with crafting and DIYing. I am thinking of ways how can I monetize that as well, because for me, with my plant hobby, the reason that I started doing YouTube anyways was because the plant hobby was getting expensive and I wanted to be able to pay for itself. That's why I started doing YouTube. And kind of like with the crafting now and the DIYing, it also gets expensive with all the equipment and materials and tools and accessories that I'm buying. It adds up. So I want to be able for that to pay for itself eventually. So I'm concentrating on the craft, get better on it. So maybe hopefully I could sell some products on Etsy that I made with my crafting and DIYing. So that's something that excites me, that relaxes me, the same way that my plants provide active therapy and a form of meditation for me. And you know the saying that plants make people happy? For some people, that is not true, or at least they realize that it's not exactly true. And I think I heard somebody say at TikTok, well, plants don't really make me happy, because if I'm depressed, I can't take care of my plants. And if I can't take care of my plants, I just feel more guilty about killing something or disappointing another thing in their life because they were unable to take care of the plants while they were depressed. And I totally get that. And that's why, while plants make people happy is a true thing for some people, or is true to a certain extent for some people, it is not for a lot of people. So, and some people realize that about their plants or their relationship with their plants, and they start to feel guilty, or they feel like there's something wrong with them, that they don't feel the same way about their plants anymore, or they don't find the same fulfillment that they do with their plants anymore. Again, totally normal during this time of year. It could be just a phase, or it could be something that, you know what, I can't do anymore. I cannot have plants anymore. That's not something. I had a good run with plants, but I can't continue with the plant hobby anymore. And that's okay too. You don't have to stick to something just to prove that you didn't give up on it, because by doing so you might be holding yourself back and exploring other things or finding new passion or finding something else to be excited about. So kind of like with me this year, cutting back on my plant collection allowed me to have more time to do other things, focus on other stuff that I'm interested in. If you've been watching my vlogs, my Sunday videos since the beginning that I started them, which is in August, I like skincare, I like hair care, I like crafting, I like DIYing, I do like traveling, I like reading. So because I freed up my schedule by getting rid of some plants, I can do those things now. So when I do get to spend some time with my plants, I greatly appreciate those times that I'm spending with my plants, kind of like today, instead of like picking up the camera and, you know, gushing about and showing you right away what I got. When I got home, I took care of plants off camera. I watered all my plants downstairs. As I mentioned before I left, I was watering the plants right here behind me. I just took them out of the water. So I think I repotted a couple of plants too while I was downstairs, like a couple of snake plants and a couple of orchids. And I watered my fiddle fig, my Ficon that I got from Costa Farm. So for me, when it comes to my plant hobbies, as much as I want to film everything, and it seems like I am filming everything for you all, because since my channel is all about documenting my plant journey, to be honest, you'll probably be only seeing, if I'm gonna be real honest, you're only probably seeing about 25%, maybe 30% of my plant journey. And even then, that 30% is well curated and edited version of my plant journey. A lot of stuff you don't see behind the scenes when it comes to what I do with my plants. Sometimes I just like tell you, don't really show you. Because for me, it is more important that I take care of my plants than be able to film it. Because I think if you've seen my video on the how to branch your ficus plants, I did express there that sometimes when I film videos with my plants, I end up damaging them. And so for me, if I know putting filming on top of taking care of my plants is going to be more stressful for me instead of an enjoyable activity, I put the camera down or don't pick up the camera at all and just focus on taking care of my plants. So that's something that I did today before I picked back up my camera again to share with you what I've done and to share with you my Monstera abo. So the clock says it's already 13 minutes that I've been babbling. So editing Marianne will just have to figure that out. But yeah, so let's pretend today is October 1st, so I could just spend actual October 1st editing this video so that I can share it with you all on Sunday, which is the time that you're watching it now. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my Bye September, Hello October, Hello Fall video, and I'll see you in my next one. And if you haven't seen my latest videos, go check them out. I'll link some of them down in the description as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a plentiful day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!